10 things to know about electoral bonds. Electoral bonds are a new way of political funding in India, introduced in 2017. Individuals and corporate groups can donate money to political parties anonymously. Following are 10 things to know about the electoral bonds. Point 1. Anonymity. Electoral bonds allow donors to remain anonymous, ensuring unbiased political funding. 2. Legal framework. Electoral bonds were established in India in 2017 as part of the Finance Act. However, critics argue that there is not enough transparency about where the funds come from. Point 3. Not every political party is allowed to receive funding through electoral bonds. Only political parties registered under Section 29A of the Representation of the People Act 1951 and received at least 1% of the votes in the last election are allowed to receive funding through electoral bonds. Point 4. Political parties had to encash the bonds within limited time frame. The parties had to encash the bonds through an authorized bank account within a certain time frame. If they didn't do so within 15 days, the donation went to the Prime Minister's Relief Fund. 5. Denominations. Electoral bonds came in various denominations, from 1,000 rupees to 1 crore rupees. 6. Available period for purchasing. Electoral bonds could be bought at certain bank branches during set times announced by the government. The bonds were sold for 10 days in January, April, July, and October, and for 30 days during general election years. 7. Validity. Electoral bonds have a validity of 15 days. 8. Transparency concerns. The government promoted electoral bonds for transparency in political funding, but critics said not knowing donor identities threatened democracy. They feared corruption and influence without fund source disclosure. 9. Impact on political funding. The introduction of electoral bonds changed how political parties collected donations. These bonds were like promissory notes that were not linked to a specific person. They did not have the buyer or payee's name, no ownership details were kept, and whoever had the bond was considered the owner. 10. The political funding today's. Parties can still receive donations from individuals and companies within set limits and anonymity. Critics argue that parties can divide large donations into smaller amounts to hide donors and bypass spending limits by using cash payments.